Hi, good morning. I'm here today with local author Tonya Cox, and we're going to be sharing a little bit about her writing. But first, I want to thank our live stream sponsor, Southwest 66 Credit Union. Thank you, so possible. So thank you so much for being here, Tonya. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Andrea. Thanks for having me today. How are you?
Good. We're excited to have you. These live streams are all about sharing about local authors and promoting literacy, and especially, promoting people in our community reading local authors. So it's exciting to feature you. I would love for you to start out by telling us just a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I was actually born in Odessa, and I have lived Colorado, Louisiana, southern Texas. I actually spent 3 years in Germany with my first husband, my ex-husband, during the first Gulf War.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got four sons, one of which was actually born there. So he's a international baby.
Well, that's awesome. And why would you say adult literacy is important to you? I know not all of our viewers will know this, of course, but Tonya is actually also one of our volunteers, which is why it's extra exciting to have her. So I know adult literacy is important to you, but I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about why.
I believe that literacy is the key to unlocking everything, because if you can read, you can learn anything.
Yeah.
And people who have more than one language definitely have a leg up on the international and even the national scene.
Yeah.
I just feel like adult literacy is the way to get ahead. Whether you have a higher education or not, you can learn anything if you can read.
Yeah, and it's so true. And Tonya has been teaching a writing class for our students, which has been an awesome opportunity for them, sharing a little bit of her expertise. And I know our students have really enjoyed working with her, and it's just been such an awesome opportunity. What would
For
you say?
me as well.
Oh, awesome. What would you say to someone who is maybe thinking about volunteering with us to encourage them to try it out?
I think that if you feel led to participate to help other human beings in any way, you should do it and play to your strengths. If you are good at reading, then read to people. If you're good at writing, then teach them to write. If you're good at grammar, then that's what you need to do. Play to your strengths to help your fellow man.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if anyone is interested, go ahead and contact us. We are always looking for new volunteers, and love introducing our students to awesome people in our community. So I wanted to ask, since you've taught writing with our students, has that changed at all your approach to writing or the way you think about how you write?
It has, and this first class that I had was amazing in so many levels, because I did not realize how rusty I was with the basics. And they are terribly forgiving, and they gave me great feedback at the end of the class, and I'm better prepared for next semester. I want to be able to teach them at a level that's best for them. And while I was doing that, and I was learning my own insufficiencies, shall we say, it actually made me a better writer, and it inspired me to start a new book. So I'm starting a new book because of my students and their love of learning, and the way it helped me learn myself again and pushed me back into my writing. And I'm terribly grateful to them. I learned as much as they did.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. So what kind of got you into writing in the first place? Is it something you've always been interested in, or is it something that you've kind of developed an interest in over time?
In high school was when I knew I was a writer and I wanted to write. And as most people, life interfered with plans, and I have done other things. And it actually took me 20 years to write my first book.
Oh, wow.
The one we're reading from today will be my second book. First books are rarely fabulous, and mine is no exception. But it meant something to me. And it spoke to me, and it was inside of me, and I had to get it out. And I did. Getting an agent is terribly hard. Yeah. And I finally decided to go ahead and self-publish so that it felt complete. And that was for me. I didn't write for anybody but myself. I wrote for me. And I think that makes it powerful.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who wants to write should not sit down with the concept of, I'm going to write a bestseller and I'm going to get rich. You
Yeah.
need to write what speaks to you and what is inside of you that is struggling to get out. Even if you feel like it's dreck, it's your dreck and you should love it because you've created it and it's yours.
Yeah. Absolutely. And would you mind telling us a little bit about the book that we're here to discuss today? The book is Dark Rituals, and I did include the link for anyone who's interested in the text of the post. And we would really encourage you to go ahead and support Tonya and get that book. But go ahead and tell our viewers what it's about, a little bit about it.
All right. Well, I know that this area is very conservative, so I don't want it to be a surprise to anyone when there is human sacrifice, a little bit of cannibalism, human trafficking, but all of these things I researched and they're real and they have happened in the past, and we want to keep them from happening in the future.
Yeah.
And I think that fiction very often is a way to teach people lessons in an entertaining way.
Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of genre would you say it is?
Paranormal thriller.
Paranormal thriller. Okay. And I was telling Tonya, I haven't quite had a chance to finish it. I have started reading it and it's been awesome so far. It is very exciting, a lot of adventure. So I would really encourage everyone who's watching to go ahead and get a copy and read it. But in the meantime, Tonya, would you mind reading a little bit from the book?
I will do so, and be sure to cut me off when you're ready, okay?
Okay, absolutely. All right.
All right, we're going to start in chapter 1. Let me switch. So, okay, there. Now you can see me. I wake and see that I'm still in my dark stone prison. A sob tears its way out of my throat. My mouth is dry and tastes bitter. I lick my lips with a thick and clumsy tongue. Memories of dinner and drinks with my tour group at the local cantina are merging with things I know cannot be true. My mind is fraught with images of spotted jungle cats, grotesque faces, and endless gallons of the frothy, viscous liquid our guide had called pulque. I shudder, remembering the texture of it, the hands forcing my jaws open for more and more of the vile stuff. My tears and screams were drowned in the reinforced brew until all my choices are taken away. The corn husk mattress rustles as I am pulled to my feet. I try to throw their hands off of me. My arms flap uselessly. I open my mouth to shriek with anger and frustration. Only a moan escapes my lips. The light goes from dark to shadowy, showing my captors to be small Mexican women. They are lean but muscular, and they work well as a team. To my utter humiliation, they strip away my clothes, leaving me bare. They push and pry and wash me like a vegetable. Angry tears trace down my face. I bare my teeth in a vicious display. They wipe away the drool. I can almost smell the heat wafting around the room. The dim light allows me to see the outlines of a door. As the women thread my arms through a soft cotton robe, I tremble with the effort to force my feet to run. I sway like a sapling in a high wind. I'm embarrassed that the gown I am wearing is open down the front, fastened together by a few Velcro tabs. I clutch at the opening, merely brushing the cloth with my fingertips. Shuffling through the doorway brings me to a stronger light. Instead of sprinting away as I had planned, my legs tremble and I sway. I turn and find my way blocked by two half-naked men with skins hanging from their shoulders. I shudder when I see that the ends are dried, withered hands. Human. The skin is human. And I can only stand and shake with sick revulsion. My steps are unsteady, and one of my captors tugs my elbow, leading me forward. I try to yank it back, but my body does not respond to my will. My mind wanders, and the carvings in the walls seem to shift and pulse in the strengthening light. We are climbing stairs. At the top of the steps is a mesa. The gray stone is smooth and warm on the bottoms of my bare feet. The sun is high in the sky. I can feel its rays warming me. Through the veil of trees, modern buildings stand. I turn to see a metal block. It is large and has a ridge down the center. When I am close enough to touch it, I notice it is dark, almost black and icy. There are leather cuffs and black wire rope at each corner. Fear chokes me and darkness claims the edges of my sight. Hands lift my shoulders and my feet are elevated. My chest is thrust upward by the ridge in the stone, and my arms are pulled down and slightly back. The sun is bright, but my arm will not rise to shield my eyes. I raise and turn my head, straining. I see a mass of people in the courtyard below. They are watching me, most with a quiet determination, some with resignation or disgust, and one or two with the bright-eyed fervor of true believers. Turning as much as I can the other way, I find my view blocked by a brightly colored and fantastically decorated row. It is covered with millions of tiny feathers, iridescent in the sun. The man wearing it removes a fierce-looking mask. A painted monster lurks beneath, with alternating bars of red, green, and black against his pale skin. Placing one hand on my forehead.
Oh, sorry, Tonya. Do you want to go ahead and finish the sentence?
Sure. And another against my chest, he closes his eyes, his face creased in concentration.
Awesome. So as our viewers can see, this book is really exciting. There's a lot of I love the way Tonya describes things, and I really enjoyed reading it. So we actually have a question from Alba. So Alba's asking, Tonya, why did you choose this particular subject for this book?
I have been fascinated with Mexican traditional folklore, and I have read a lot since junior high about it, and I've always I've wanted to explore the religious ramifications of human sacrifice, and Quetzalcoatl is actually in this book from a modern point of view, which is where the paranormal comes in.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it, but it is there. I like folklore and mythic tales, and Mexico has a plethora of these, and they are fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Tonya had mentioned to me, you guys would have seen the cover art while Tonya was reading, and she was telling me her students who are from Mexico had seen the cover of the book, and they were telling her some of the, I think the meanings behind what the cover art was, and it really is an awesome book cover, Tonya.
Thank you. I believe the artist's name for that was Ben Ragosa. He is here in Odessa and Midland, and he does great work.
Oh, awesome. Well, I wanted to ask you, because just from what I've read so far, there's really interesting and diverse characters in the story. And I love the way it's kind of jumps around between the different stories and characters. Can you tell me a little bit about how you develop characters when you're writing?
Well, I always suggest anybody who's new, and even people who aren't, use a character sheet for your characters. You also need to know your archetypes and what your interconnections are going to be. Thrillers specifically need to be written from several points of view separately, and then they blend together for your final. So not every genre does that. Drama doesn't do that. Romance doesn't do that generally. But thriller, that's a very specific thing. So that's what I was doing, was weaving different points of view to a common end.
Yeah. And how do you kind of develop an overall storyline when you're working on a book? Because I know whenever I'm reading, sometimes I think wow, how did they plan all this, all these complicated storylines, and everything always ties in at the end. How do you kind of work through that as an author?
I tell people to get started, you need a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's not specifically, you just want to know who you are starting, and you want to know what the end is going to be. You already need to know your end so that you can work towards that. There is nothing worse than writing 10,000 words and realizing you just wrote yourself into a dadgum corner, and now none of those words work.
Yeah.
And it makes you throw things. I've never actually hurt anybody, but yeah, it makes you throw things, and it's very frustrating. I use 3x5 cards. And I wrote down the subjects that I want to do, and I put little holes in them, and I set up so that I can move them around. I use color coding for my characters, and then you have to worry about voice, because you don't want each character to sound exactly like the other. They need their own vocabulary. They need their own personality, which is why you need your character sheets. Everybody organizes differently, and 3x5 cards work for me. I've used them for the last two that I did, and I'm using them for the one I'm doing now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think that's great advice. And I also wanted to ask, do you have any plans for a sequel to this book?
I had worked on a sequel set in Paris, but it never quite came together. And then I had some health problems, and then it just wasn't working. And I haven't actually written in almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so grateful to my class for helping me move past that and move into something good and reignite my creative flame.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, like I guess maybe we can check in with you in the future and see what happens.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that you did start a new project. Is the new project also a thriller, or is it kind of a different genre?
Yes, it's going to be a thriller, and it's going to be paranormal. I'm going to use Tesla is going to be in this one, and I'm going to use the Unseelie Fae Court.
I don't know what that is.
Well, within the Fae community, you have the light and the dark. You have Mab in the summer and the winter. I'm going to focus on winter.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, that sounds really interesting. We're excited to see what you write next.
Well, thank you.
What advice would you give to somebody who is, wanting to get into writing, or maybe has done a little bit of writing but wants to, maybe publish their first book? What advice would you give?
Never give up, never surrender.
Yeah.
That's kind of a steal off of Galaxy Quest, but you have to have a thick skin. You have to be open to getting advice from other people. Find a good critique group, and you need beta readers. And I don't mean your mother, because your mother's going to tell you you're fabulous no matter what.
Yeah. So
you need somebody who,
some good criticism.
Yes. You need somebody that's going to be kind but true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you mentioned earlier that you self-published. Would you mind telling me a little bit about what that process is like?
Well, that was several years ago, and the way I did it no longer exists. But I do have both of my books through Amazon.
Okay.
I have done some looking around so I can pick a new one, but I haven't decided on one yet.
Yeah.
Things have changed in the last 5 years, so I'm going to have to put some research into it. But right now, I want to strike while the iron's hot. I want to get this out. I want to at least get the basic outline ready before I start worrying about publishing. Don't put your cart before your horse.
Yeah.
Get it down. Don't make it perfect. Just get it down, because too many people waste time trying to make each paragraph perfect before they move on, and you will never finish.
Yeah. So you can't be too hypercritical. you have
Just get it down. I don't care if it's misspelled. I don't care if it's in any format. Just get it down, because all of that is fixable. What's not fixable is what you don't do.
Yeah. Good advice. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite books to read? I know that's a hard question.
It's like asking me who my favorite child is. I started reading Edgar Rice Burroughs in the 5th grade. And right now I would say probably Dean Koontz, his older work. I don't really care for his newer stuff, but his old work was really good. I like Rosamund Pilcher, which is chick lit from Scotland. I read everything. I read young adult. I read everything. And that's another thing. If you're going to write, you need to read. Mm-hmm. You need to see what's out there. You need to gather your inspiration from other writers.
Yeah. And do you tend to kind of choose specific genres to read, or do you read everything?
I don't read romance. It just doesn't appeal to me. But other than that, I mean, I've read Laurel Hamilton, which is the raciest, juiciest, kind of nasty. But I read it. I like it. And like I said, I read some chick lit. I do tend towards thrillers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tonya, is there anything else you wanted to share with our viewers today before we close the live stream?
Well, I just want to thank you, Andrea, and the center for having me here today and allowing me to be a part of your team volunteering and working with all these wonderful, wonderful people. And I encourage everyone here, everyone watching now or later, to get involved. Please do.
Thank you, Tonya. We really appreciate it. It has been a pleasure sharing, your writing and introducing you to our viewers. And again, I would encourage anyone interested, go ahead and look for that link in the text of our post, and check out Tonya's book, and read a local author. So thank you so much for being here today, Tonya. Hopefully we can maybe meet with you again in the future when the next book is complete.
Well, thank you for having me, and let's do that.
All right. Bye, Tonya. Thanks for watching, everyone.